Hi everyone, I'm Isabella, and today I'm drawing Mech Strike Black Panther, so follow along with me on Marvel's How to Draw. Black Panther's got this really cool new mech suit that's got some really awesome tech upgrades to it, but when we're drawing it, let's start with simple shapes. Black Panther's all about speed and strength. I want to make sure the pose that he's in, he's looking very powerful and strong. You know, I start really light here to kind of get the whole character drawn up. That's why it's good in the beginning to start with very simple shapes, light lines, kind of draw the whole character. You know, I like to do get that torso area where I want it to be. And then a little thing I like to do is I like to start where the shoulder is, and then I draw a straight line down from the shoulder. And that's where the back of that heel is. So that's why you can figure out how that character's going to stand. You know, really look like there's a dynamic element to them, and they look like the heroes that they are. So what inspires me about Black Panther is he's not just a hero with cool powers and abilities and speed, but he's a leader, and not just a hero, but an icon. The thing I love about Black Panther, he's got these really cool panther details. So once I add more details, I'm gonna add those claws in. You know what? I actually think that forearm is probably a little too big. It's a little too long. So the nice thing of starting with the pencil is you can I don't think it'll look right. So I'm gonna just kind of clean some of this up and just go right back to it. Right to the knee, and then go right to the belt, and then right to the other leg. You can make mistakes, and that's fine. Probably every time you make a mistake, it turns out better in the end. So it's okay to get those mistakes out early, and no matter how long you've been drawing, you're going to make mistakes, and that's how you discover new things when you're drawing these characters. And that's one of the really fun things I love about drawing. All the forearm is just two big circles, and just connect them. So it has a really cool dynamic quality to it, and then I'm just going to start adding in his fingers. And I don't want to spend too much time right now on the fingers and make sure that looks right, because I want to make sure the whole body, the whole drawing is working together before I start adding those details. So this mech suit's got a lot of fun panther details. There's little panther ears on the shoulder there. You know, what I do in this part of the drawing is I keep everything very light. I keep the shapes simple. Don't make it too hard, too early. Let's figure out where his head is. So it's right in the middle. Cylinder with a half of a circle on top to find out where his helmet is, and then find a center line. So I'm just going to go right down the middle there. So that's probably a good shape for the chest piece. And then to make it really feel dynamic, instead of drawing a straight line down, add a little curve to it. It makes the character feel really powerful, like he's moving. Even though he's static on a page, it makes the character feel like he's got some life. And then we'll start adding in the belt area. One of the things I love about these mech suit designs is they have so many really cool details. But you don't want to get tied up in them too early. And you know, a really key thing when you're designing and drawing mech suits is you want to add a lot of layers to the armor. One of the things about adding layers to the mech suit drawing is it gives the appearance that the character can move inside. So adding those layers, it's just a nice little detail to make sure that the mech suit, you know, looks like the character can be as powerful and brave as we all know Black Panther is. You don't want to get too many details, because then if you gotta erase or change it, you gotta redo all those details. So kind of draw a line behind the heels, and then make it look like the heels are on the same plane. They're on the same ground. And an important thing to do when you're capturing that is making sure that the character's got a good stance to him. That's one of the things I love about this mech suit for Black Panther is you can see those panther details coming through. He's got claws on his feet. I'm going to go right to the other side of the body, just so I know that those details match up. 3 toes on this side, so 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Because I want to make sure that they match side to side. I draw the claws on one side, and I'm going to go right to the other side of the drawing and draw those claws. That way they look the same. Now I'm going to redraw that part of the leg. And making sure that he's got a fun stance, powerful stance is important. So the way to do that is make sure you have a lot of curved lines. Don't make everything straight lines. The big lines, especially on the outside of the legs, is I want to make sure there's a curve to it. That way you capture that pose. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. That way it matches. And you know, if you want to add some asymmetrical designs to it, you can do that too. I'll start with the bicep, just a large box. And then to do the arms, I just do 2 circles and then just connect them. I might actually draw in some of the elbow. I'm not sure yet, but you just put that there just to make sure, just in case. It helps you just kind of make sure the arm has the right shape to it and right bend. Armor details here, I feel it's starting to come together, so now I can start adding some of these details. Add some panther teeth. Here, bring the, we want to find the elements of Black Panther that make him special, make him who he is. There's a lot of details that come from Wakanda tech and from his Black Panther, his namesake. Add that, add the panther ears, make sure that matches on both sides. There's a lot of little pieces that have layers to it. They have different elements on them. To make sure it matches, I do one side, I'm gonna go right to the other side just to make sure those parts of the armor match up. So going one side to the next, it's a good way to make sure that when you're drawing these different parts of the armor, they have the same look. Darkening in the claws. And then what I like to do to make sure that you can really see the hands is I start doing what you call cross-hatching. Straight lines that all match up, and you can see that hand starts to really pop off here. So a really fun thing about these mech suit is, they're made to enhance the powers that characters like Black Panther have. So, we know Black Panther's strong, but he's also very agile. He's very quick. You want to make sure that you're seeing separation in the parts of the armor, because he's got to be able to move, because these mech suits are actually making their powers even better. There's that agile element to Black Panther. And then I say, I'm drawing in pencil right now, so I can erase and redo some of these lines, but sometimes I draw in pen, so you can just go and be a little quicker or a little messier. And you can draw with so many different types of materials. So if you're drawing with markers or crayons, pencil, it's always fun and great to explore and try new materials, because it gives the drawing a different look and feel. Okay, so I was drawing in some of these details here, and they weren't looking how I want them to look. So it's okay. Just get your eraser, erase them. You can redraw them in. All right, I'll go like that. And again, just make sure it matches up. Doing one side right to the next side, and then add those layers, that depth to it. So I draw that second line there. Let's draw in the helmet. So I started with that very simple shape. So I'll just kind of go over it to darken it. And then because this character's in a mech suit, he's really tall. So I'm gonna have the character looking down. So you really get a sense of how tall and powerful this character is in this mech suit. And then, this is Black Panther, so Black Panther has those iconic panther ears on the top. You can really tell this is Black Panther. So just draw those in. A nice little trick to make sure your eyes match up is doing an arc, a curve there for the top of the eyes, making sure that they're matching up. And then I draw a center line on the head, and that's right in the middle. So now you make sure that there's the same distance on one eye to the center line and the other eye to the center line, so it matches up. It's okay to be a little messy. It's not a problem. It's part of the fun is being a little messy with the drawing and just kind of drawing all the parts in. It's easier to kind of clean it up once you get towards the end. Actually, part of the neck come out there, but you're not going to really see too much of that. So I'm going to kind of darken that in a little bit, so you can see the depth, you can see the separation with the head and the neck there. So I'm feeling pretty good about how the drawing looks. It seemed to have the right proportions. So now I can really start going through and adding all those final details. So I didn't really do many details on the arm, so I'm gonna start there. So go through, draw some of those lines there, and then I just going to make sure they match. So I'm going to the other side of the drawing and add them in. And then I like to add some of these lines on the arms and the legs and make sure they have a little curve to it, so it really captures that agility and that speed that Black Panther has. You don't look like he's just standing still, like he's a statue. I think Black Panther's got this really cool, it's almost like a claw on his elbow. So let's draw that in there here. It's kind of the same shape that we see on his toes. Add some, I'll redraw that circle, that first circle I did there, so that way this part of the arm looks like it's in the same plane. Redrawing that circle helps. It gets your hand moving in the right motion. And I'll take that circle and just make it a little bigger. So that way that part of the forearm looks bigger, and the line has it's at the same angle as that bottom one. So that's kind of a great way to make sure that you're putting things in the right plane. All right, so then to make sure that you can really see that hand, add some cross hatching. So I think we're in a good place here. So I think what we'll do is I'll get my eraser out, and I'm gonna go through. I'm just gonna start cleaning up some of these lines I don't need anymore. They were super helpful in the beginning of the drawing, but I don't really need them anymore. And this is really fun because the drawing starts to take a little shape here. So this is one of my favorite parts of the process, going through and erasing some of your guidelines and those first lines you drew. That's why it's important to draw them very light in the beginning. So now you can really start adding those details. And these mech suits are so cool. They got so many details on them. And right before I go to this stage, I just want to take a step back and make sure that, the proportions match what I was looking for. So now we can get a darker pencil out. There's this split in the armor. So to make that split so you can really see the difference, I'm going to add some cross hatching there. And then I'm going to darken in these bottom lines between the armor pieces so you can really see them. And I'm just going through, I'm just darkening in some of the main lines here. And I like to make these back lines behind the character really dark, so it really makes the character pop off the paper. Maybe Black Panther runs so fast when he's saving the planet that he needs to let off some exhaust there. So let's draw in some exhaust vents. Moving really quickly. And add that ear up here. Draw those panther teeth, a little curve to it. 2 lines so you can see the depth between the armor pieces. Different areas, the shadows are going to fall in there. The light's going to hit it differently, so you want to try to capture it. Really make sure you can see the separation between the chest and the arm. And I'm going to cross hatch between that. Going to add in more details here. Actually, why don't we just add little panther teeth here? That's one of my favorite things about Black Panther is that panther motif, that whole design aesthetic. You bring it all over the place on this armor, this mech suit. Really cool aspect of this character. Really fun to draw. Again, just add some cross hatching to make sure you see that depth. And then what you can do here is you have this little curve here. So you can really tell because the arm goes inside that part of the armor. I'm going to make a little guideline, and then I'm going to cross hatch. And then if you want to make it really dark, you can go through and kind of darken that line so there's a lot of shadow there. That's kind of in between the arm and the torso. It's like a little diamond piece, so little parts of the armor that repeat, which a lot of times they will, is you do them all at once. So those aren't straight lines, so there's a little curve to it, just a little bit. So I'm going to start darkening in some of the details here on the belt, and I'm gonna cross hatch right between that utility belt and that leg. There's probably some really cool vibranium tech going on there that's letting Black Panther move around in battle there. So you want to really, I don't have to draw in all those details. So if you draw in just a dark shadow, it gives the appearance. The eye makes up what you're not seeing there. Add some shadow to it, and it's in the shadow. And again, what I want to do here is I want to darken in that bottom line of the belt so you really see the separation between the legs and the belt. There's some really cool vibranium tech. I know there is. As Thanos threatens Earth, Iron Man built these awesome Mech Strike armor suits so Black Panther and the Avengers could take on this larger-than-life threat. The top of the legs, he has some armor plates, but the back, you want that leg to move really quickly, so it's probably flexible. So to make that look flexible, I'm going to draw on these little divisions. You can draw every single little gasket, piece of the armor, little nuts, bolts, every piece you can draw, or you can put some in shadow right there and let the imagination fill in the blanks. Starting to come together here, so let's finish up some of these details here on the leg. You can see I have a lot of guidelines here in the beginning, and we don't need these anymore, so let's get rid of some of these. Now, they're helpful, but we don't need any more, so let's just erase them a little bit. Let's erase them all. Back line compared to the front line, I make this back one a little darker, and then I want to have some depth in there. So again, I'm just going to cross hatch. Basically, I'm just finding the guidelines. So I might have drawn 6 lines. You're going through, you're redrawing some stuff, you're finding new lines. You're drawing a Marvel superhero. How fun is that? And I think we're starting to come together here. I'm almost done. Let's finish that last detail and we're good. Alright, there's my drawing of Mech Strike Black Panther. Let's throw some color and ink on this. Now that looks like a mech suit fit for a king. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Marvel's How to Draw.